Hello everyone, so I decided to make this video today, and I recently just went to the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, and I decided that I was going to make a whole video on my experience going there and our little road trip and the fun that we had. I mean, there's not much to it really, but it was still an awesome experience. And I just want to apologize for the crappy quality. I'm using my webcam for this because my batteries are getting kind of low and I don't want to risk it, so yeah. I have been wanting to go there for a while now. It was always on my bucket list to go there. It was on Ghost Adventures traveled to Trans-Allegheny. Nick Groff from Ghost Adventures traveled there with Katrina from Paranormal State, and so they've been there as well, and I'm pretty sure there's been a few other people who have been there, and it's been on several ghost shows. And you guys know me, I'm completely obsessed with horror and just ghosty, haunted stuff. Like, that stuff's always been up my alley. It's something that I've always been into, and it's just always been on my bucket list to go there. And I wanted to go somewhere this summer, and ever since I started job training, you know, you do get paid to do it. So I'd like to say like a week or two ago, I got my first paycheck. So I decided that since it was close to Father's Day, my dad had been wanting to go there too. And since I had been wanting to go there and I wanted to go on a road trip this summer, I decided that now would be the perfect time, while I had money, to travel to Trans-Allegheny. Now it's only like an hour. It's only like an hour and so many minutes away from me. We were driving there, and we stopped on the way. We got some food, of course. You can't run on an empty stomach. And then we asked some lady from McDonald's, like, how you got there, because my dad had never been there before. And this lady gave him directions, and then a few minutes later, we've reached the town of Weston. Now, I live in West Virginia. I live in Charleston, but Trans-Allegheny is in Weston. So we landed in Weston. I had never been there before a day in my life, and I just thought it was so awesome because the town, you can just tell that it has so much history to it. Like, there are so many little buildings and, you know, just little shops and different things, and it's just, it is so cool looking. Like, I love the way that it looks. I love the whole look to the town. We're going around the corner. My dad's like, I see it. I see the top of it. Because you know how Trans-Allegheny has that big, like, steeple-like thing. I don't even know if you would want to call it that. But it's like a steeple, or it's just like this little pointy top. And he's like, I see it. I see the top of it. It's right around the corner. And I was like, where? And I was like, looking out my window, like, trying to see it too, but of course I couldn't see it, and I was vlogging this day, so I think I actually got that on camera when I was like, where? And if you guys haven't seen that vlog, I'll leave it in the description below so you can go check that out. So then we go around the corner, we drive up a little bit, and you see this sign that says Historic Asylum, and I'm like, oh my god, like, in my chest I could just feel the excitement like building up. I had like so much adrenaline in me at this time, and we turned around the corner and there it was, the beautiful building of Trans-Allegheny. Oh my god, it was so awesome just being able to see it in the flesh. Like, even their fence was like creepy looking, like it just had this like creepy look to it. And they also had a sign in their yard that said, welcome to the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. So my dad drives in, and like, we're looking up at it through the windows, and I am just so excited at this point. Like, I feel like I could pee my pants. And we get out, and we decided that we were going to take a bunch of pictures first, because I wanted to, of course, get a picture in front of this place so that I could have it to look back on and just say that I had been there. So we all got out, we took pictures. My mom had told me that she seen a lady in the window. Now, I don't know if she was just saying that to like scare us. I mean, that didn't scare me, but you know what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if she was just saying it or if she was telling the truth, but I believed her. But she said that she seen a lady in the window, and she was wearing this white long looking dress. It had a long collar on it, kind of like an old-timey looking dress, like a Victorian style dress. She had her hair in curls and up in a bun, and she was staring out the window, and she was holding the curtain back, and she was going like this at my mom. Now that's what my mom said. I don't know how true it is. My mom could be, exaggerating, but I believe her. So I thought that was pretty cool that she's seen something. I personally didn't see anything that day. But after we took our pictures, we decided to go inside. And we walked in, and I'm like vlogging this entire thing. Like, I'm vlogging us walking inside the building, and just like every little room. I'm vlogging like everything. Girls that are dressed up in nurses outfits, which I thought was pretty neat that they brought that whole thing back, because I thought that it was cool that they had girls dressed in nurses costumes, and that they were kind of like bringing it back from like back then when the asylum was actually opened. And we're just peering through all the rooms, just checking it out, getting a good look. The place smells of like dust. Like, you can just tell that it's old, and like, I'm not complaining about it. I like just the smell to it. Like, you could just, it wasn't like a smelly odor. It was just kind of like old, like an old smell to the building. And like, I wasn't complaining about it. Like, to me, it just kind of showed that the building was old and that it had some like history to it. But yeah, we were just walking around. We walked into this one room first, and there was a bunch of like old looking like tables and chairs and different little knickknacks and different things like that, like a lot of antique-y stuff in there, and I'm pretty sure most of it actually came from the asylum. And then we walked back out, and I think that we seen the gift shop after that, and we decided that we were gonna walk in there because I wanted to get us all some t-shirts. Looking around, they have all kinds of awesome looking t-shirts, postcards, bracelets, yada yada yada, all kinds of cool stuff that like shows that you were from Trans-Allegheny. And I'm just standing there, and my dad's like looking up at something behind me, and I'm like, what? He's like, and I turned around and looked behind me, and there hanging up on the wall was a picture of the Ghost Adventures in front of Trans-Allegheny. And I fangirled so hard. Like, I was just like,
oh my god, like, I cannot even believe that I am standing right in the place where freaking Zach Bagans was with Nick Groff and Aaron Goodwin. Like, I cannot even.
Like, I was fangirling so hard. I am the biggest fan of Ghost Adventures and Zach Bagans. Like, you guys do not even know. I don't think I've ever really said that before, but I am. So yeah, I was flipping out over that. There was also a picture of ghost hunters hanging on their wall, which was still pretty cool, but I'm more of a Ghost Adventures kind of girl than I am Ghost Hunters. But it was pretty cool either way. And then we went up to the checkout to buy our shirts, and there's this lady standing there, and she talking to my dad and stuff, and she was also wearing a nurse's costume. My dad found out that she was one of the actual nurses in the actual asylum whenever it was actually opened, and she still worked there, which I thought was freaking awesome. Like, I don't know why, I just thought that that was really, really cool. And we're talking to her about their haunt, because they also have like a haunted house in Halloween that people can act in and all that other stuff. So my dad was asking for me, like, how do you participate in their haunt? And so she told me, the guy that does the haunt or whatever, because there's a guy that runs the haunt, she was like, he would gladly take you in if you wanted to. Like, all you have to do is come and, talk to him, come down whenever, and I'm sure he'll take you in. So I thought that was awesome. Like, I have an opportunity to go work at Trans-Allegheny in their haunt, and I was told that by someone who had worked there before. So I was like flipping out on the inside. We bought our t-shirts and stuff. We left that room, and we just decided to explore like what we could, because they only let you go so far in there unless you're going on a tour. And there's this little poster thing hanging on the wall, and it has all of these different celebrities on it. I think it even had Britney Spears. And it just said like other celebrities with mental illness, because if you didn't know by the title, Trans-Allegheny was actually like a mental institution for like all of these people who were mentally ill. And some of the stuff was actually kind of silly in my opinion. Like, I'm gonna be making a whole video on like the history of Trans-Allegheny, but I wanted to do them separately so that way they wouldn't be too long. But some of the stuff didn't even sound like they were really even mentally ill. It just sounded like they were normal people who had normal things happen to them, and then somehow they ended up into this asylum and they were considered mentally ill. But this poster had like all of these different celebrities who had a mental illness. So I went around the corner, and they have this little museum that you can like walk through, and they have like some of their artwork, like some of the patients' artwork, and then like stuff that other people have drawn. There was actually a picture of the devil that someone had drew, and it was actually in a frame in there, and I thought that was kind of creepy, but it was also cool at the same time. And so we were just like checking out all of the artwork and stuff, and then we went into the back, because there's a place in the back, like further on into the back if you keep walking, that has like some of the actual equipment that they used on some of the patients, like to do some of the things that they did, because like there's different things that they practice on them, like different therapies and stuff that was supposed to help them. They had like some of the actual equipment that they used to perform those procedures on those patients back there. So we walked back there to see what that was like, and I kind of jumped a little bit at first because there's like this jail cell, and they have like little dummies in there to represent the patients or whatever. And they had this man, and he was like tied up in like he was like hanging out like this. And I jumped because I did not, like, I thought that was an actual person. I was like, oh my god, am I seeing a ghost or am I seeing a person? And then they had one in every room where an example of what they used to do with the patients. And it was just, some of the stuff was kind of creepy, like some of the stuff that they used to do to them. I mean, some of it is still allowed now, but some of it's kind of illegal now. On the side of the wall, like once you got past all of the different rooms with all of the dummies and stuff, there was this thing that like had all of the newspaper articles from patients who had escaped and there were so many of them, like, and then you walk a little bit further and they had this room, and it had like this door with like this like I don't know, I wouldn't really consider it bars. It was more of like a pin thing, and this was before we walked a little bit further up. I forgot to mention this, but in this room it had like this book this was like an actual book. They had wrote in, like, every time a new patient would be checked into the hospital, they would write it down in this book, and they had the actual book in a case that you could look at, and like a little copied one that you could flip through and read. And then they had this room that just had like different things, like the different medications that they would take, the person, I guess, who created the asylum, and different quotes from different patients and workers that had been there before. And it was just really cool seeing all the history and all of that different stuff, you know, and actually being able to breathe that air and actually be there in person. It was just so cool. And like I said, it was something that I had been wanting to do for such a long time. And when we were walking out, we walked into this other room, which was also up front. And once again, there was a lot of like old-timey, antique-y tables, furniture, like different little knickknacks and things like that. And they had this little theater room, and I wasn't sure if you were allowed to go back in there, but you were. So me and my dad took a step back in there for a second just to see what it was like, and it just had this little movie projected on the wall, and it was just talking about Trans-Allegheny and all the history, and it had the owner And then we left and went home, and it was just an awesome experience. Like, I definitely want to go back and make more videos. I would actually like to do the Halloween thing where you like go to the lock-in or whatever and just kind of sleep in there. Or you don't really sleep, but you're allowed one flashlight and one blanket, I think. And you're supposed to ghost hunt all night. I think it's like till like 5 o'clock in the morning near Halloween. And I was talking to my dad, I definitely want to go back and try that, and if I do, I'm going to try to bring my camera so then I can see if I can make a video and do like a little ghost hunt in there, because that will be awesome. But I'm not sure if that's going to work out or not yet. I'm just like thinking of different ideas. If not, then I'm sure I'll go sometime in the future. Actually, whenever I was editing my Follow Me Around vlog from where I had vlogged that day, I caught a few EVPs on my camera, and some sounded like a little girl. So I thought that was awesome, because there's actually supposed to be a little girl that's in there, like a little girl spirit. I'll tell y'all more about that in like my video, just kind of like telling you the history about it and stuff. But yeah, it was so awesome, so awesome. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Please leave me a comment and let me know if you have ever been to Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. If you had, did you ever have any like paranormal experiences there? If you did, please let me know. I'll see you guys next time.